This is the Sony 40mm 2.5 lens, which was designed as part of a trio when they released the Sony A7c a couple of years ago. At the time, when I picked up the camera, I also picked up the 24mm version of this. And I have to be honest, I thought 40mm, what on earth is the point in that? And now I own one. Let me tell you a little bit about why I bought this lens, as well as a few facts and figures about the lens itself. So I'll start with the lens itself. Lovely little form factor. All three of these lenses, the 24, the 40 and the 50mm that they released, look almost identical. Nice, solid build quality. They have a clickable aperture ring, which I absolutely love. Perfect for photography to keep it on. You get that really nice tactile feedback, so you know that you're stepping up or down in f-stop, but you also have the bonus of being able to turn the click on and off. So if you want to use it for video work, you can turn it off. It also has one custom button on the barrel itself, which I personally have set to use to switch between APS-C mode and full frame mode. When I'm shooting photography, I really like to be able to punch in and see what kind of frame I'm going to be able to grab in APS-C mode, especially when I'm just a one lens wonder and I'm having a bit of a walk around. It gives me that bit more versatility. As I say, lovely little form factor. It's a really nice small lens. When you take the lens cap off, it has quite an interesting lens hood. I do not like lens hoods. I've actually scrapped lens hoods off all of my other lenses because they're so big, bulky, and they get even in the way, even when they're flipped up and put on the other way around. This one only goes on in the orientation that it's supposed to go on, pointing outwards. You can't flip it around. But it's so tiny, and it's got this quite cool design. It's got this kind of round design form factor with a little rectangular area on the front there, but you can pop it on top of the lens. And the bonus here is that it's actually got filter threads within the lens hood itself. So I picked up a tiny 49mm circular polarizer to stick on the front of there, which I can actually leave on there at all times because the lens cap then goes on the front as well. So that's super handy. And of course, because I've got the 24mm version of this lens as well, the whole lot is transferable. They all have the same filter size. So that's pretty much it for the lens itself. I'm not going to go into tech specs. It's the lowest aperture is a 2.5, as I mentioned, and it goes all the way up to f2.5, so you can serve all of your needs. And it complements the Sony A7c range so well, because of course that is what it was built for. Now, onto the reasons of why I purchased this lens, because as I've already mentioned, I have to be honest, at the beginning I really was a bit perplexed by why on earth you need, want, or use a 40mm focal length. Now, here's my thinking. In more recent times, I've wanted to slimline my kit down. I got into photography at the very beginning and I got really into landscape photography. And at the time, it was all about having the biggest tripod, all the lenses, all the filters, the big square filters, and everything you need. And I really enjoyed kind of having all that, and I still do have a lot of that kit. I have a big backpack that I sometimes take out when I go on a big landscape expedition or if I travel and I'm going specifically to do that. However, I found it's a bit restrictive and it kind of stops me from shooting on a more casual basis. And I really want my day-to-day memories, my memories of trips to be a bit more casual, a bit more easy to capture and a little less intrusive, if you like. So I've been slimming down and streamlining my kit, and I wanted one lens to do it all. Of course, you're gonna laugh at me, that's probably impossible to have, but at least something that could kind of cover me across the board. So to take some pictures of people, some nice portraits, some nice details of the food and the things that are going on, as well as maybe some landscape photos along the way, and just a nice set of travel details, or in fact just things on my day-to-day basis like my coffees and when I stop on my bike and take nice pictures of the deer in the park. Just a bit of everything. I historically have had for the past couple of years 24mm, which I'll be keeping. I'm shooting on it currently. Perfect for landscape shots and making videos like this. Secondly, I had my 90mm, which is one of my favorite lenses, and I actually think is a super versatile lens, even though it's actually designed as macro lens. You can see that up here. I'll talk a little bit about that. My other two lenses that I had were a 35 and a 50. The 35 was a Samyang and the 50 was a Sony 1.8. I do really love the 50mm. I did not really love my 35mm. I don't know whether it's just because it was a Samyang lens and I didn't really get on with the build of it. I just didn't really feel nice to use, or whether it was just the 35mm in general. I personally do kind of prefer slightly tighter shots. I like to pick out details and things. So I found myself leaning towards my 50 quite a lot, but it is quite tight in certain situations. And I know you probably think 40mm isn't that much less, or indeed that much more of a 35, but I thought this could just be a sweet spot between the two. So I went for it. After much thought, traded in those two lenses, actually, really went for it, and I picked up this 40mm. So far, I've had it a couple of weeks and I've been walking around and using it quite a bit. I've been into London and I've taken it around on my daily travels, and I have carried the camera much more with me, so that's a definite bonus already. I'm really hoping it will be a great companion for the Sony A7c when I travel. I'm going to Bali and I'm going to Singapore as well as Rome later in the year. All places I probably am getting a little bit of a heightened awareness for theft, and I want to be a little bit more inconspicuous and a bit more incognito with my camera, and just carry a really small kind of carry and make it not that obvious that, hey, look at me, I'm the photographer. But I still want to get those amazing shots on those trips and create some really lovely memories. So I'm really looking forward to taking it on my travels. I am going to follow up this video with this new carry that I'm carrying around. I found a nice setup with a small bag and a few tiny accessories just to complement the load without it becoming too crazy. So if you do want to see that and see what I've packed in and made in my kind of everyday camera carry, and that I'll use for travel as well, please do drop this video a thumbs up and subscribe to hit that bell note to get notified for those videos, because they're coming very soon. And I will leave it there. Let me know what you think of a 40mm. Do you have one? Have you thought about it? Do you think it's a bit of a strange thing as well? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video, sharing all my photos over on Instagram, so go check them out there, HY Images. And I'll bid you a farewell, and I'll see you in the next video.